Alright guys, how's everybody doing? Well, if you look at my videos, you will see that I do love using Aladdin. Um, so let's go ahead and do the other version. This is the one I don't run or speedrun. So um, I have played through it quite a bit though. Still definitely a good game. Um, this one is made by Capcom, so you can't go wrong. I think the only reason I hold this one back compared to the other one is that the one that was done for Genesis by Virgin. Oh, sorry, something in my throat. It was done by Virgin Interactive, and I mean, you had real Disney animators doing it. You had the music license. It was just I think it was just more appealing. It's definitely, I think, more faster paced, but more forgiving. I think the difficulty is pretty comparable. I haven't really noticed one being like too much harder than the other. Pretty much just go to the exit sign. You don't have a sword in this, which is, not as cool. But I mean, Aladdin. Did Aladdin have a sword in the movie? A long time since I've seen it. Well, 99% of the movie he didn't. But they still have the apple mechanic, which is weird. That's okay. So this is going to be a casual playthrough. Like I said, I don't speedrun this game by any means. But played through it quite a bit. I remember being a kid, like, I had the Genesis and I would go over to my friend's house with the Super Nintendo, and we had both versions. I did notice that Aladdin was recently came out on Blu-ray. Disney's always very stingy with their releases, so things you think should be out never are. So, but yeah, this one recently came out on Blu-ray. Blu-ray, DVD combo pack, what have you. I'll have to pick it out. I do love the movie. And, being a dad now, I have a 4-year-old girl, so anything with the princess, so she likes Jasmine, but she hasn't actually seen it yet. Of course, actually, to record, at least on my top loader, I have an old VCR lying around, so I might be able to get some good movies cheap just going to Goodwill. Just like everybody donates all their old VHS. First 2 levels I'm just rambling because there's not a whole lot going on. Pretty simple. The one thing this has that the Genesis doesn't is a run mechanic. So, but it turns into like very slippery. I guess. Slippery would be the best way to describe it. Kind of get like an ice physics thing going. So there are parts where it's just almost impossible to use. I'm sure if I took the time to want to speedrun this game, then I'm sure you would that would be a good example. I got the 1-up at least. But I let go of forward and hit the other direction and he does a little skid. Obviously the Genesis one he does too, when you normally move. And that's the way to manipulate your speed. Here though, it's an actual mechanic. It is very, skidding gets very ice physicsy. Wow, at least I keep getting the 1-up. That's embarrassing. One cool mechanic this one has too, that the Genesis doesn't, is the tarp. You can pick it up. It looks like a map. Honestly, it looks like a video game or like a map that you get in Zelda. But in fact, that's what I thought it was the first time I played it. I don't even know where to go. You go right. No, it's like a tarp thing. I'm not touching anything. If you game over, not really game over, but if you have to use a continue, then it goes away. But I think almost every stage or every other stage, something of that nature, has one. So, I mean, they're not too hard to come by. If you lose it, it's not the end of the world. And you can complete all the levels without it. It's just, it makes life easy. I don't know why I'm waiting on health there. All in all, a great platformer. I just don't know how much it fits the Aladdin theme. I mean, sure, he didn't have a sword in most of the movie, but I think he did in the TV show. Like, who wants to watch non-Robin Williams Genie, right? Disney decided they didn't want to pay for that. I'm pretty sure all the sequels, too, because there were a few sequels that came out when I was younger, and those all. None of those had Robin Williams in it either. But I think in the show he did. We're gonna watch this guy get so mad. He's getting mad. Stop. I used to think you had to go nuts or you had to wait for him to go crazy. I didn't realize, like, you could throw an apple to get him to stop, see? Kinda like a little bitch slap. There is a common theme in that the bosses aren't very hard. Yeah, I don't know. I would expect the Super Nintendo version to look better, and I just don't think it does compared to the Genesis. I think it's slower paced too. Even though you have a run mechanic, it's still slower, but it's more precise. I will say that. I think the Genesis one, you have a lot of leeway on what you can get away with. This one's a little more precise. Okay, can I skip this? Start, select. Okay. I didn't push the start button enough. Wouldn't be Aladdin without caves, without the Cave of Wonders. Yeah, I mean, you can tell this one is definitely slower. Not by much, though. I think part of it is just the mechanics are just different. Like, I think the Genesis one is it's more of a smooth... Oh, that's bad. We'll slowly go to our doom. Like I said, I don't claim to be very good at this one. All in all, though, I wouldn't expect myself to fully game over on it. But... Both of them are, by the way, great games. Jumping on the head and stuff like that, I don't know. I prefer the sword, but the sword hitbox is wonky as hell anyway. So the Genesis sword can sometimes be almost useless. That's kind of cool. Not sure how many times in a row I could do that, but it's okay. Oh, yeah, same mechanics as the last boss. I have to wait for the little skeletons to swing. That's okay. Oh, man. Now we're at the end. You remember the exit signs in Aladdin, right? Okay, so now we have to go to the Angry Cave. Oh, not yet. I'm gonna try to... Normally you kind of ride the log all the way. Let's try to speed things up a little bit. We have the little tarp. I don't know what you would call it. Ah. That was bad. Forgot that bat was there. Yeah, the other thing is too, it does have some bounce back. Kind of like... That was weird. Alright, you know what? Let's just ride the log and be happy. Yeah, it definitely has that knockback that you get in a lot of platformers. I feel like that's one thing that makes it... I think when I think Genesis moving faster and more forgiving, I think both of those actually probably be attributed to that. I feel like the animation's just faster moving in the Genesis one. one of those rare occasions. Everybody's mixed on it too. You know, some people like me, like the Genesis. Um, you know, a lot of other people that are either Super Nintendo diehards or you know, people that just prefer this game. It's definitely not a bad game by any means. I like it a lot. I definitely think it's I think if you took the Aladdin out of it and didn't compare it to like an Aladdin that was animated by Disney people, it would be like a much different scenario. But I mean, all in all, it's a Capcom platformer. I mean, how wrong can you go? Alright, this is where we got the lamp and we're gonna do a little angry stuff. Boo, no. And the kid gets mad. He devils. Let's skip this. I will say though, for old games, the password system is on point. There's like 4 things. Some games, when you get the password, it's like a ridiculous, like 16 characters. Looks like a tracking number for the postal service. Don't need to worry about the story. I mean, this game doesn't really follow as closely as a Genesis, I guess, if you want to count it following. You know, these old movie games that never followed too closely. I think Genesis is more true to the story, but the Super Nintendo tries to make it up for their little scenes in between. Genesis doesn't have like the story scenes too, so I guess I could see it either way. I promise, it's not gonna be a all compare video. I mean, you obviously know my preference. I speedrun one, but I don't the other. Lava's more forgiving. No insta death. Close. I thought I could get over that. Oof. Let's not use a continue already. Should be checking the time. I don't know how long I'm going. This is just a good example of times where you can't use the run mechanic. I mean, realistically, it wouldn't make sense to use it. But, you know, it's not like, well, you'd use it here for momentum. But, like, think of Donkey Kong Country. You're always holding down the run button. It's not exactly like that. There are certain times where it just gets too slippery. Again, I thought I could get over it. Get the little bonus stage thing. Oh, should have ducked there. That was kind of a wonky hitbox, that's okay. The lava is not an instant kill, but if you get hit, and if you're in hit stun, or you know, your little knockback thing, if you're in that animation when you go back into the lava, like if you hit the lava twice in a row without touching the ground, you'll die. No matter how many hearts you have. Alright, let's spin the wheel. Anytime. On to up. Oh, I've never landed on this one. I really never have. I don't even know what it does. That's it? It just gives me another heart and refills my health? Action. A little concentration on this stage. I will say what looks like the background isn't. That's my only complaint about the stage. It looks like, yeah, it looks like all the stuff is in the background. Like, these little tunnels you have to go through, but they're not. Ah. That place. I always bite it there. That's bad. Alright, I just don't want to have to continue already. I would seriously doubt it's game over. It would be a game over, but I don't think I've ever fully game overed on this game. Oh, I'm sure I did as a kid, but like not recent playthroughs. There we go. Alright. Obviously didn't get the scarab, so I don't get a thingy. Bonus stage. I just really want this art thingy for this stage. Good example of slippery running. Almost bit it. Almost bit the big one there. This is a cool little part. I like this. Ooh, almost didn't though. Usually there's different obstacles. Oh, you know what? I figured this out once in the playthrough. If you have sometimes he'll put like rings and cards and stuff you have to bounce on. He doesn't do that. He just puts clouds to make it easier when you're at 0 lives. Because I ran into that before. When you're at 0 lives, the difficulty automatically goes down. A little disappointing then, but that's okay. I think I would have made it anyway, but I thought I got another. Thought I got a 1-up. I just got a heart. Ooh. Tried to go too fast here. That wasn't good. Sometimes these jumping, like somersault things, can be kind of fickle. You have to do like a Mario or Donkey Kong spring jump, you know, where you hit the jump button as well as, you know. I overshot it. But you have to hit the jump button as well as balance. It's almost worth hitting no to see the genie's face because it's funny, but he gets very disappointed. Oh, okay. I almost had a real serious problem because I thought I still had the tarp. Oh wow. I would like to go on record and say I thought I should have grabbed that, but that's okay. Can't blame the game for my bad jumping. So I'm holding run and jump, and I'm off because I thought I was gonna bounce on it, and instead I landed on the platform. Ooh. That was awful. My problem is in games, I'm not a patient gamer, like, at all. You see, like, there'll be some people that, you know, will take their time and want to kill all the enemies in games and, you know, make sure they line up their jumps. I don't do that, ever. No matter what the platformer is, I never do it. I should sometimes, but I just don't. I think a lot of cases, the more I try to sit there and think about it, the more mistakes I make. So I just kind of assume, let's just... Ooh, I thought I could jump. I didn't know I was going to hit my head on that. I thought you would go through it, but... I think that's the best way to learn a game, though, at least for me. You know, you just go as fast as possible and try to replicate the results every time. So when you beat something, then you pretty much beat it most of the time afterwards. Not always the case, but I'm not a patient person. Oh, that's fine. Plus, I don't think this game's that fun to be patient. It's almost like this game is almost like a Middle Eastern parkour, if you will. Alright guys, I am going to at least cut this one here. Pause it. There we go. I'm going to cut this video here and go on to part 2.